Good morning, everybody. How are you all doing? Well, it's that time again, man. It's that time again for me to give some commentary on some of the episodes we had, some of the podcasts, some of the art that we've been doing, man. I'm so proud of it, especially the little snippet, the short story about $10 a yard. That actually was a real story. Now, the reason why I say it is based on a true story is because in my mind, I can't remember whether or not it was $5 a yard or if it was $10 a yard. So I just went with 10, knowing my father. But the basis of the story remains the same. And I was so happy to be able to share that with you all. And I'm so thankful for the reaction. We got a positive reaction from it. So it was good all the way around. But thank you all. Thank you. We just hit 350 videos uploaded. So we're doing pretty good so far, man. And then look, too, I want to show you all something. I just got something. So I just bought me a vlogging camera. It has a 3-axis gimbal on it. Now, I'll be honest with you now, it's kind of a knockoff of the Osmo Pocket 3. And I looked at the prices on the Osmo Pocket 3, and here's what I've decided. After we've grown in our subscriber count and our views, I think then I'll do it. I'm not in a position right now where I can justify alone off, the traffic that we had so far. I can't justify that purchase. So as always, I'm going to be intentional, and I'm going to do what I think I should do based on what I see. So hopefully that was a fair assessment. I think it was. When we get to a point where better equipment is needed, guess what we'll do? We'll get some better equipment, okay? The very last episode that we did, the very last commentary that we did, that was right before the one we talked about my father and him showing me how I should behave when it comes to my own value. We had a video, and it was quite a lengthy one because I had a lot to write on it. But it had to do with the fact that fathers, of course we know mothers are important, that's a given, but fathers need to be around. Fathers need to be allowed access to their children. And it's not a political stance. It's not anything that I'm doing as far as pushing some kind of social agenda. I'm simply looking at what would be best for the child. And if people in general, before they had children, if they examine their motive, and if your motive is not to bring a child into the world and give them the best that you possibly can give them, then you might not want to have a child, okay? That might not be for you. But at any rate, I did an extensive explanation of why it's necessary for a father to have the ability to see his child. And I think that that's important because probably about halfway the video, we had a real life example of a lady. And now if you look at this lady's lifestyle, now her tag on Instagram is Nars Dose Daily. NARSDOSEDAILY. Nars Dose Daily. So Nars Dose Daily, the creator of that particular podcast, that particular page on Instagram, she broke down. And then she made the admission that she turns back into that little girl every time she has a conversation about what happened between her mom and dad. So she starts off by saying that they were at one time married, and then evidently there were some things that happened that caused the marriage to disintegrate. But along that way, she goes on to describe the pain, and you can tell that it was still fresh, the pain that was involved in sitting beside a doorway, hoping, praying that someone comes and validates her existence. And that's what's, man, we having a lot of conversations now about validating individuals' existence. We having a lot. It's becoming more and more necessary. And that's what she was looking for. She was looking for her father to show up and to validate her existence. But now there's a twist to the story. There's a twist to the story because she said she did it for months on end, waiting on her father. Her mother would have her 1 week, her father would have her the other week, and so they would alternate. And she said she was waiting. This beautiful child, because she grew up to be a beautiful woman, this beautiful child is having to wait at the mercy of indecision. Wait to see if the person who was a part of bringing her into the world is going to come and pick her up and spend time with her as a father should. And it was a very, very dramatic situation, if you ask me. And halfway through her explanation, especially during the part when she started to cry, I became emotional myself. So, y'all hold on. Let me get some dry cleaning. Good morning, ma'am. How are you?
I'm good, you?
I am well.
All right, great. I'll get something right now.
Yes, ma'am. Take your time.
You want a receipt?
Yes, no, ma'am. I'm okay. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. All right, have a nice weekend.
Yes, ma'am. You too.
Thank you.
That lady's always so nice. Always. Let me get myself together now. Okay. All right. So now where were we? Yeah, so the young lady is having to wait. And she, if you ask me now, she's still waiting. She's still waiting on that love that she would get from her father, that reassurance, that stability that comes from knowing that you have a father that loves you. And people like to downplay that, especially nowadays when the mantra is all women should be strong and independent and have no need of a man. They downplay the fact that you need your father. You need your father. The absence of that love creates a void. And a person can find themselves trying to fill that void for the rest of their life. And that's unnecessary if you have a father that's been reaching out to try and have something with you. It's unnecessary to cause that kind of difficulty upon the child because we can't be bigger people in that situation. And so she comes to find out from her grandmother now, and that was odd to me, but she comes to find out from her grandmother that her father was there the whole time. He was trying to see her. He was trying to be a part of her life, and he was simply pushed out. Now, whether or not those of you who see this video agree, whether or not you say, okay, well, I don't think that I would allow anyone to push me out of my child's life. Okay, that's one way to look at it. I understand. I do. I don't think personally I would ever give up. Never. As long as there was breath in my body, I would never give up on trying to be a part of my daughter's life, even if it meant that I could only be a part of it when she became an adult. When she became an adult, okay, then we could resume our relationship, but I would never give up. No, because one thing I know that if you don't have the two parts that make up the relationship that should be there, the primary two parts to that relationship that is a marriage, you're going to have difficulties. We need to stop pretending. Stop pretending that doesn't exist. You're going to create problems for the children. you're going to create problems, man. They're going to have difficulties, and the difficulties are going to be as a result of things that we choose to do. Looks like I'm taking this morning to try to do a whole lot of things I need to do. Y'all give me just one moment. All right, I'm back with you. I'm back. Had to get a little gas, man. That's all. Nothing drastic. Just had to get a little gas. Okay, so I'm studying interrupting on that. But the reason why that touched me so deeply is because it wasn't always an issue with her that her father wasn't around, especially after her grandmother informed her of the efforts that her father had tried to make. Then it became an issue of anger at her mother, and she was trying to understand what would give somebody the thought that it would be better if they didn't have their father around. How can you make that decision for a child? You take away, and of course I understand, you do what you can do to protect your child. If protection is necessary, a lot of times people hide behind protection as a way of justifying the fact that they're still angry about the situation. They become bitter as a result of the situation, and so they're trying to strike out at the person that, in their opinion, caused their bitter take on life. But that still doesn't give you the reason. That still doesn't justify you removing a parent from a child's life out of nothing more than a desire to hurt the other person, while in the process you're hurting the child. Because think about this, and we talked about this before ad nauseum. We're going to talk about it again. There are questions that this child has that only the absent parent can answer. Why does my nose look like this? Why do I walk this way? Why is my body shaped this way? Where did I get this from? See, those are questions that only the other parent can answer. If you got two parents there, then you can say, oh, well, you got that from your daddy's side of the family. Or you can say, oh, that comes from me. I'm bow-legged. See, but if there's a parent that's missing, there are always questions. There are always things that haven't been resolved. There are always things that pop up and that stay as uncertainties. They linger. And the only way to resolve those uncertainties is if that other parent is allowed just as much access to the child as and most times, the mother. So you can see the anger just talking about it. And then to show you how much of an impact the situation had on her, she said that she was going to talk about it so that she could get closure. If the situation had affected her in a dramatic way, there would be no reason for trying to find closure. Y'all, we got to stop this. We got to stop this. Like I said, this isn't a social movement that I'm a part of. This isn't anything political. On an individual level, there are things that we need. And what we need is to know who we are and where we came from. And that's not too much to ask for. You got two people that laid down knowing that a child could be produced, and they produced the child. And so those two people are responsible for taking care of that child. And part of taking care of a child is being present. You have to be present. You have to be involved in the person's life. This is a part of care. This is a part of concern. This is a part of love. And as men, we have to insist on being there to be present for our children. I told you, you know of my story, you know the difficulties that I've had, but it's never been a situation with me where the children weren't wanted. And I never allowed anybody to paint a picture of me that I didn't want my children. And I'll tell you now, just like I told you on that video, and I'll use a phrase that my father used to say: I will go to hell in gasoline draws to make sure that my children know that they love and that I'm there to provide and to protect for them. Now, of course, you know I don't think hell is a real place, but I'll just use that analogy so you know how serious I am, because I'm very serious about that. But now, I said all that to bring you to what really hit me hard. You know, there are instances where even if a man does the best that he can to have a relationship with his child, or to try to be an example for his child, you still can run into difficulties. Let me get to the point of what I mean. For a while, I've been a single parent until I just recently got married. But the time in between my divorce, well, actually, before we got divorced, we separated. And in the separation, the children decided who they would go with, right? And it was a strange thing to most people. Some couldn't understand it, and some still don't. But the youngest, the baby girl, decided that she would go with daddy. And of course, you know I was happy to have her, because the last couple of months before we left the area we were in, she was with me for the majority of the time. And so we had formed a closer bond, and I can't speak for her, but I know that my intention was to provide a safe haven for her, a place where no matter what happened, she knew she'd be taken care of. She knew she'd be okay. That was the point of what I wanted to do. That's the reason why I took the stance that I did. And so she was in agreement with coming with me. And I guess I have to admit this because it's absolutely true. She is spoiled. Yeah, that little girl is spoiled, man. She's 17 years old, and you know, I'm 6 feet, 280 pounds, and that means nothing when she asks things. When she asks for things, when she wants things, it is what it is. But one of the things that I've had to deal with personally is individuals saying that there's something inappropriate going on between me and my youngest daughter. That was the reason why she decided to come with me. That's the reason why I behave toward her the way that I do, why I'm so defensive and ready to go to war for her. A lot of people say that there's something else going on that's unnatural, perhaps inappropriate, perhaps of a nature outside of a relationship with a father and a daughter. And I've had to live with that, man. I've had to live with that accusation. And even now, people still make that accusation. The relationship between me and her is unnatural. That's what a lot of people say. That's what they tend to try to push that narrative that, you know, sometime in the future, after she's graduated from high school, after she's gone on to college, after she's gone on to get married and have her own children, there's going to be a reckoning between me and her where she's going to tell that some kind of way I did something inappropriate to her, I touched her a certain way. There's going to be that revelation. And I'm here to tell you that in itself is maybe one of the reasons why men, fathers, and I'm not giving them excuses, but maybe that's one of the reasons why they don't take on full custody of their children, especially their daughters. Because you have people out that, even though you're doing the best to provide for your child, they're imputing wrong motives to you. Now think about that for a minute. You have a child who, throughout all of the difficulties that you have faced lately, you have a child who believes in you, who loves you, who thinks the world of you, why would you hurt that child in that kind of way? Why would that even be on the table? As a father, how would that even be on the table? That just shows you how people think, and how sometimes you come upon individuals who will use any kind of justification to try to defame your character. You're trying to defame my character, man. You want me to be something that I'm not. You want to be able to say that I turned into some kind of monster because to individuals around me, I'll just tell you I'm not a nice person. I never have been. I'm not a nice person. I'm not one of those guys that's looking to get along. I'm looking to do what I need to do. I'm looking to do what's right. So at times I clash with people because our perspectives are wrong. And if we can't come to some kind of agreement, then it is what it is. But to have a situation where if you're not there, you're a deadbeat. If you are standing there when nobody else is there, then you have an ulterior motive. No matter what you do, somebody's going to find an issue with it. No matter what you do. So I can sometimes see why there's a lot of men that just bow out. The situation becomes more complicated. It becomes more taxing than they would like to deal with, and so they bow out. And I can see. I don't understand and I don't agree, but I can see. I can see where that comes from. Because for the greater majority of the time that I've had my daughter, that's been the consensus of a lot of people. That there has to be something else going on. Something nefarious, because I can't be trusted. Because there has to be some reason other than the fact that that's my daughter and I love her and I want her to have the best life that she possibly can. There has to be some reason why she's attached to me at the hip. It has to be some reason. So that's one of the things you have to deal with. That's one of the things. And for my part, I've dealt with it. I didn't think it was fair. I didn't think it was reasonable, that approach, but I dealt with it. So the whole experience for me was an opportunity to show, yes, you can play with that, and you can decide to do whatever you want to do in regards to that situation. But if it took two people to bring that child into the world, and it did, took two people. Even if you got a sperm donor, it still took two people because it had to take a living, breathing human to produce the sperm. It took two people to bring that child into the world. It's going to take two people to raise that child. Now, are we saying that you should stay in an unhealthy relationship? That's not what we're saying. What we're saying is that the ideal situation, the most intentional situation, is two people involved in a intentional relationship. Let me be specific. Two people who have decided to marry each other, to dedicate their lives to one another, to have a healthy, wonderful, lifelong relationship. These two people decide that they're going to have a child. They're going to put their best foot forward and try to create the most healthiest environment that they possibly can. And they're going to try to raise their child into a thinking, reasoning, rational adult. That's what I mean. And that should be the goal. That should be the goal. Raise the child in the way that they can benefit later on in life instead of heaping trauma on top of them. Because it's going to be enough trauma. It's going to be enough difficulty that they're going to have to face anyway. So why add more to it? It's ridiculous. It really is. But now, like I said, I'm one who pushes forward. No matter what the situation may be, I'm pushing forward. I'm saying, okay, this is what we have. This is what we want. Let's get to what we want. Okay? All right, so now the sun is blocking us now. So let me see if I can. Yeah, there we go. All right. So now, I hope that everyone has a wonderful Friday. I hope your week was productive, man. Mine was. And I hope that whatever difficulties you're dealing with, financial, emotional, maybe mental, whatever it is, spiritual, whatever difficulty that you're dealing with, I hope that you resolve within yourself today that you're going to fight until you're in a better situation. That you're not going to give up, give in, or give out. You're not going to do any of those. You're going to continue to push forward, because pushing forward is what's going to turn life around for you. I guarantee you. And so you know how we end this thing. You know I love you. Be easy. Peace.